Okay, let's jump right into it. Today, we're talking about home restoration. It's one of those services that you hope you never, ever have to think about. But when disaster strikes, like a burst pipe or a kitchen fire, knowing what's what and who to call is absolutely crucial. So let's get you prepared.
But here's the thing. Sometimes the disaster isn't some big dramatic event. Sometimes it's silent. It just grows. Which leads me to ask you this. What's hiding in your home? It's kind of a creepy thought, I know, but it's an important one. Because a lot of the time, the biggest threats to your house and even your health are the ones you can't see right away.
And take a look at these symptoms. What's so wild is how, well, normal they seem, right? A cough, a headache, feeling tired. We blame that stuff on allergies or just a tough week at work all the time. But these could actually be signs of mold exposure, hiding out in a damp corner of the basement or behind a wall where there's a slow leak. And here's the key takeaway from our source. All mold is potentially hazardous. It is not something you just want to ignore.
So, you've got a problem. Maybe the basement flooded, or you found that nasty black stuff growing in the bathroom. What do? Who's the right call to make? Well, let's meet construction's first responders.
I just love this quote. It nails their role perfectly. Think about it. Just like paramedics showing up to an accident, these are the people you call in a home emergency. They don't just come in later to fix things up, they arrive right in the middle of the crisis to stop the damage from getting any worse.
So what do they actually do? Well, this slide breaks it down. A restoration company is there to handle the big messes. We're talking serious damage from fire, water, the whole shebang. Their job is twofold. First, clean up the mess that's there. And second, and this is so important, to preserve and protect your home so things don't spiral out of control.
Okay, pay attention here, because this is where a ton of people get tripped up, and it's a really, really important difference to get. It could literally save you thousands of dollars. We're talking about restoration versus renovation. They might sound kind of similar, but what they are, and more importantly, who pays for them, are worlds apart. And here it is, plain and simple. Restoration is all about repair. It's a need, not a want. The goal is to fix damage and get your house back to how it was before the incident. Renovation, on the other hand, that's about an update. It's your choice to put in that brand new kitchen you've been dreaming about. One is a necessary fix, the other is a fun upgrade. And trust me, your insurance company cares about that difference a lot. Mix them up, and you could be looking at a denied claim and a huge bill.
All right, building on that, there's another pair of terms to untangle. This time, it's reconstruction versus restoration. When something really major happens to your home, these are two totally different ways to get back on your feet. So, the main thing to get here is just the sheer scale of the work. Reconstruction is exactly what it sounds like, rebuilding. Sometimes that means tearing a house down to the studs or the foundation and basically starting from scratch. But restoration works within the structure you already have. The whole process is about making things better and repairing the serious damage that's already there. You could say one is like major surgery, while the other is a full-on transplant. And that brings us to our last key term, remediation. So if restoration is about fixing the building itself, remediation is all about fixing the environment inside it. It's about tackling those hidden dangers we were talking about right at the start.
So yeah, remediation is the process of stopping something bad in its tracks. Our source uses mold as the perfect example, but this also goes for other hazards you might find, like asbestos or old lead paint. The focus is all about safely getting rid of the threat and fixing up the area to make sure your home is safe to live in again. So how do they do it? It's a pretty methodical three-step dance. First, the pros come in and figure out the full extent of the problem. Second, they carefully get rid of all the bad stuff. That could be drywall, carpeting, you name it. And finally, they do a deep clean of all the surrounding areas to make absolutely sure the hazard is 100% gone.
So, okay, we've covered restoration, renovation, reconstruction, and remediation. That's a lot of jargon, I know. But why does any of it actually matter to you? Let's boil this all down to the one thing you really need to take away from all this. It's because in a moment of crisis, being clear is a superpower. When you understand these terms, you can hire the right pro for the right job, you'll get what they're telling you, and you can talk to your insurance company without getting lost. It really does take you from being a panicked homeowner to an informed one who's in control and ready to protect your biggest investment. And that just leaves us with one final question to chew on. We spend a lot of time preparing for the dangers we can see coming. But what about the ones we can't? After all this, I hope you feel a little more ready to answer this for yourself. Is your home truly prepared for the unexpected?